This is B3FL.
Romo's going to run it in. He's hit. He's not down. He doesn't get there.
Yeah, he broke every cardinal rule of quarterback.
He's down on the one. Try this field goal. Blocked.
Why did he throw?
Gotta get to the teeth of the defense.
Are you nervous? Huh? Really, are you?
Get your popcorn ready.
Hey, somebody has run out on the field.
Start with Matt, I'll kiss him.
Some goofball in a hat and a red shirt.
You play to win the game. Hello?
I look like a psycho.
You play to win the game.
Now he takes off the shirt.
It's my quarterback.
He runs at the 50.
What's that man doing?
He runs at the 40.
My passion was playing football.
He's at the 30.
Golly!
Now he runs the opposite way.
Every single week, I put my freaking heart and soul into this.
Mr. Unlimited.
I don't go out there and laugh. It's not funny.
He's bare-chested and banging his chest.
Ball around to the football. Play pass. Oh.
The guy is drunk, but there he goes.
Don't you ever talk about me!
Waving his arms, bare-chested. Somebody stop that man.
I'm not the bad guy. I love you.
How many people want to eat a dolphin tonight?
I love you.
Kicks him out.
Freaking
That is a disgusting act. Get fucking sick. You like that? You like that?
Mike, why are you in such a bad mood?
What do you care?
I got one thing to say. Oh, come on, man.
I mean, I know I'm gonna get got, but I'm gonna get mine more than I get got, though.
Here we go. Pistol Gun Cop. We're back, baby.
What up?
We're back. We're halfway through July. Football season's around the corner. I noticed the stash is gone, Ryan.
That was actually a digitally created AI stash. So,
Honestly, there's no human could grow a stash that looked that good. So that makes sense.
that's true. Yeah. Yeah. I just figured I'd leave it on the other show,
Yeah, and thank you for the invite to the Lang Gang. That was a good time. I watched the whole episode today. Liam, top 15 favorite slurs. He just went right for the heavy hitters, eh?
I guess so, man. That's his prerogative.
He's
I'm not
messed
into
up.
that kind of stuff, to be honest.
Messed up.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, though. Friend of the show. I mean, we're going to have to probably distance ourselves a little bit from that. But you also told me you were going to solve my real estate problem. And a minute after I was gone, there was no more talk of real estate.
Yeah, we're more of like a stream of consciousness thing. Like sometimes the threads get lost, but that's how you find even better threads down the road,
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed it. So anyone who's a fan of the Pistol Gun Cop show, take a listen to the Lang Gang pod.
We just like to joke around over there.
Have a lot of good laughs. Well, let's kick this off. Let's get this going. I've got myself a little mini of gin here. Our first gin review in a while. First one of the new season. I think
That's
this will
not to
kind of
say
be
we
like,
haven't been drinking gin all along, though.
buddy, we've been drinking gin. We've been drinking gin. I've been drinking gin at horrible times too. Day before the big 16-hour drive. The first day, we had to go on a away party the night before, and it's been a long time since I've had more than 3 glasses of gin, let alone a bottle and a half. It was tough. But we battled. We made it. Today's gin, Triple Beam Gin. Take a look. Ooh,
backwards taking over.
Little We've got Triple Beam Gin. It's north of 7 Distillery, a superior independent spirit. Looks pretty good. Doesn't give me any ingredients on it.
Wait, is it triple bean or triple beam?
Triple Beam.
Beam. Like the scale.
You see it?
Interesting.
Yeah. And there is a scale on the picture. That's the picture. We'll give it a try here. See what we got. We've got some good gins in the closet waiting to come out. That sounds kind of weird.
How many They're straight gins.
Straight gins. They're just in our back pocket. We'll have to drop them when we're ready.
How many GTs is that little bottle happening? Is that just one GT? Or you got two GTs?
I've probably got two strong ones. So yeah, let's give it a try. No, never, buddy. Triple Beam Gin, north of 7 Distillery. Ooh. Not a fan of the smell. when you can smell the alcohol content on it,
yeah,
I kind of want it to. I want it to be like hidden a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's try it. Interesting. There's a couple different gins we've tried. I don't have the list in front of me removing. I just get a scrap piece of paper for today. But essentially that reminds me a lot of, I can't remember which one. You got to remember these. You got to try and remember these for me.
Oh God.
You know what? It's not an 8. I'm going to put it at a low 7. I think we're going to go 7.2 on this one.
7.2 seems pretty high for something you don't seem to be enjoying at all.
It's not that I'm not enjoying it. And we've talked about this before, right? When you put those extra like flavors in there, when you try and like the Snoop Doggo, things like that, that's when it really brings it down. I just can't enjoy it. I'm going to throw some tonic in this. And we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be okay with like a drink, you know what I mean? Like in a mixed drink.
Cocktail.
Drinking it straight though. 7.2. Hey, there's going to be a review of it, as there always is. But yeah, 7.2. The Jim Beam or Triple Beam Gin.
Beam.
I keep wanting to say Jim Beam.
That's a completely different thing. I think that's
a completely different things. You know what I had a thought? I thought maybe this season we'd go to a completely different alcohol.
But we haven't even been through that many gins though. There's still a bunch of classics we gotta hit.
I think we're like 17, 18 gins in, but
it's not bad.
It's not bad at all. I just thought maybe, mix it up every once in a while. But anyways, Triple Beam Gin, 7.2.
Have you done Ink Gin yet? Have I asked you
No.
this?
That's the Australian one?
No, I don't know if it's Australian or where it's from, but it's called Ink Gin, and it's like in the bottle, it's like purple. And so when you pour out gin and tonics for people, they turn like blue.
Julia just got me one of these gins, and the bottle, she turned it upside down and it looked like a stormy night in there. It was like glitter and everything.
Ooh.
It was okay. It was like, again, it was kind of a gimmick gin. You know what I mean? And it's like
yeah, the Ink Gin is popular with women. They'll get Ink Gin because it makes their drink blue. They're like, ooh, my gin and tonic's blue.
Yeah. And from the Lang Gang pod, you've got some quarrels with the other sex in terms of like the hurricane names.
I love chicks.
And I was just joking. When you were talking about Barrel with Zach, I was laughing.
Barrel. Yeah, my granddad used to be romantically involved with a woman named Barrel.
Couldn't imagine dating someone. You know what? That's not true. Katrina. I've known a couple Katrinas in my life. That's a name you should avoid.
That's a name you should avoid.
That's a name you need to avoid. But we'll move on. We'll digress. We've got a great show lined up today. Terrific show. We're going to talk a little town hall prep. Kind of some of the things that we're going to go through there. As I mentioned, I want people to kind of get involved and like let us know what they want to talk about in the town hall. Because if they don't get it to us, then how are we going to talk about it, right? So like, want people to reach out. And that's kind of why I dropped that little mini video the other day.
Encourage people to speak their voices because we want to have them heard.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And like, I just don't want people halfway through the year to be like, and I can't remember his name. Maybe it was Henderson who did this. It's, about the PPR and the standard. And it's like, well, if you've got an issue with it, bring it up today. This is the time to do it. Right. Obviously, there's some major issues we got to talk about. Roster sharing being one.
Well, the issues only come up when people start to like lose/win. They start to have problems with the way things are laid out.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. And again, if there is an issue, we just want to remove it, or at least talk about it and get it on the table. But again,
or at least, if you have the opportunity, it's like, yeah, speak now or forever shut the fuck up,
Exactly. So again, I think it's going to be a terrific turnout. We're hoping that give enough advance, at least I'm hoping the commissioner can get the date set and we can get that out, because that'd be terrific to have a ton of people. We got to talk about possible expansion. There's a bunch of guys who are wanting to get in this league. We've dropped Jackson's video on here. He's the favorite. He was the favorite to get in, but I'll be completely honest, he slipped out of the running. I don't even think he's in the top 5 anymore. He's just disappointed me with his football knowledge right now. So I'm not sure if he's going to get the votes. So everyone needs to kind of get involved and get a nominee if you want someone, and someone who wants to be in the league. Let us know, and we can get them on a wait list if we're possible. That's the type of league we are.
Potential restructuring, adding of a C league.
I mentioned the website. Have you been to the website this offseason?
No, let me check it out right now. I remember you said that. It was fancy now.
Got a huge facelift. Terrific.
B3FL.com. Clean.
Other town hall stuff too. The division draft. Now, Jake and Kalen, apparently, rumors are they've already done the draft. And it will be revealed come the town hall.
Of like which teams are in each division?
Yeah. Because traditionally we've done first place, second place draft the next year's divisions, right?
Yeah, the website looks good. It looks similar to did before. I can't remember if I ever went on it on my computer. I only went on my phone, I think.
Fair. Well, I'm telling you right now, it looks a hell of a lot better. It's cleaned up.
Looks great.
They've done a terrific job with it. Terrific job. Our tech team, Nate Jordan, doing a fantastic job. Fantastic job.
It's fun. Everyone's like, for the manager list, it's everyone's first name and then Pico.
I know. Well, Connor's just boring, I think. You have anything in the town hall that you want Brent brought up?
No, just gonna dominate the A-League is all. That's really all
I'm ready
on my docket this year.
I'm so ready to dominate the A-League, and the big mouse that are up there that have just trashed the B-League. I think there's 4 B-Leaguers this year. And this could be the first year this has happened where all 4 stay up. Like Alex, don't get me wrong. Don't care for the guy, when it comes to fantasy football, but he's good at fantasy football. He's always there. You know what I mean? He's always around.
Of course.
So I'll give him kudos. And who else is up with us? Liam, correct? And Liam's again another guy who's always around. And we thought he had a terrible draft last year, and he bounced back big.
He got all the good like pickups, like all the waiver darlings last year. He fucking got them all.
But hey, you've got to be a good GM to do that stuff.
You got to be on the ball.
Liam and I have had some great battles over the years, so I'm happy to see all 4 of us up there. If I could swap Alex for Dan out, I would, but I can't. So
no Mortal Kombat this year. What the hell is going to happen there?
There's going to be no Mortal Kombat this year, which kind of sucks because Dan and I did it first. Hopefully someone else takes the reins and wants to do something fun, but like Dan and I set the bar pretty high with that one.
That's a classic game day. The folks look forward to that all year. Hopefully it happens again someday.
But and that's kind of the beauty of the up and down, is that in 3 years, Dan and I might be in the same league if he gets to the A League eventually, and we'll play, and it'll be like, oh shit, Mortal Kombat.
It's back.
Until that day, though, you just dominate the B League, buddy.
Hell yeah.
Hey, Dan.
Danny boy.
So I wanted to go over, I did some rankings, kind of my pre-draft rankings, and I did them last year, and I did top 15 for each position. Too much. So this year I dumbed it down a little bit, and I went with the top 5 in quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, tight ends, and defense. Kickers aren't football players, so they don't matter. So I went with these guys. I've got some honorable mentions. You guys are going to question some of this. I'm just going to go grab a little tonic here. The people are going to wonder, Connor, what are you thinking? I want to be clear before I get into these rankings that these are not how I think as a player. These are strictly fantasy based, Let's be clear. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL.
Is he the best fantasy quarterback? Not necessarily.
He's not necessarily the best. So again, let's keep that in mind before people just go off on us in the comments and everything about how we don't know about
fantasy football podcast after all.
It is. So I'm going to start with the quarterbacks. I'm going to start from the bottom. Okay. My number 5 quarterback this year coming into the season. And let me know if you agree, buddy. Joe Burrow.
Joey B.
I think he's going to have a terrific year. No Joe Mixon, so I think they're going to toss the ball a little bit more. I think Jamar Chase is set for a big year. I think Burrow's set for a big year coming off an injury. So I look for him to bounce back into the top 5 this year. Number 4, Josh Allen. He's been the number 1 QB the last couple years. He loses, his big weapon in Diggs. I don't believe Gabe Davis is there anymore. Some question marks on the Bills' offense.
I think Gabe Davis left, yeah.
But Josh Allen, he's a good player. He's going to toss the ball. He's going to get yards. He's going to put up points. Now, these next 3, my top 3, before I get into top 3, maybe I'll go honorable mention here. My 4 on the honorable mention list, who I think are going to have a ton of value, I would look to draft them. First one's going to shock people, Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't make my top 5 this year. Fantasy quarterbacks. I think the receiving core still have question marks. There's no way Casey's going to be as good as they were. I still think they win the division and they get to the playoffs and maybe they go on a run. Kelsey's not going to be nearly as good. I think he falls off. I think there's just fantasy-wise, Patrick Mahomes, he's never been a huge runner. His numbers are going to dip a little bit. He's probably still going to win 12 games. You know what I mean? 13 games. Jared Goff, that high-powered Detroit offense. Kyler Murray, I think he's going to have a big bounce back here. Dual threat guy. They got added a couple weapons. And Jordan Love, he could be a little bit of a surprise for some people. He ended the year strong, won a playoff game. I think Jordan Love could be, he could be the guy in Green Bay going forward. Thoughts about those 4 guys not making the list?
See, all these, as far as quarterbacks go, those are rounding out the top 10, right? This makes me want to pick someone in the top 1, 2, 3 spot way more, because it's I think the guys who are going to be in the lead in the quarterback position are going to be that much further in the lead than those guys that are just throwing the ball and not running touchdowns in.
And I think the next 3 picks kind of add to that dual threat. And my number 2, maybe not, but number 3 is going to be Anthony Richardson, the Indianapolis Colts quarterback. He is a monster.
I don't know.
He was hurt last year. He was hurt in the first few weeks of the season last year, so he couldn't finish. But he looked so good in the first couple of weeks, running the ball, throwing the ball. There's a video of him dunking this offseason. Guy's a monster. And he's healthy. So I think the Colts get a little bit better in a kind of a weak division. But the next team in this quarterback in that division is going to take a huge step this year. And it's not Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud with the Texans, my number 2. this guy had a terrific rookie year. The Texans have done nothing but add offense and add weapons around him. I really like CJ Stroud this year. I think there's a ton of value. I think he's going to be there in the 3rd round. And I would take a leap on that.
I would love to see the Texans be great.
Yeah. So do you have any guesses who my number 1 is then?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, baby. That team, I like the Ravens. I think he's going to be, again, the receiving core kind of hurts, but the addition of Derrick Henry is huge for that team.
True.
I think they're going to be, I think he's going to rush over 1,000 yards. I think he's going to lead their team in rushing over 1,000. I don't think Derrick Henry's going to quite get there this year. And the tight end situation with Mark Andrews. I mean, they have such chemistry. Again, if he stays healthy, Mark Andrews, if Lamar Jackson stays healthy, he's the number 1 fantasy quarterback this year. A little bit of a soft spot for him too. He's been my guy for a long time, but those are my top 5. What are your thoughts on the QBs?
Yeah, seems about right. Does CJ Stroud have as much of a running threat? I can't remember if he was like a running guy as much last year.
Not a huge running guy.
But yeah,
him and Burrow are kind of
like crazy.
Him and Burrow kind of have the same move. They're pocket guys, but they can scramble if they have to. I had his stats up at some point today, but you know, he can move if he has to. I'm not necessarily worried about CJ Stroud running the ball, but again, these are the projections, what I think is going to happen, you know, this year coming up. So,
yeah, it seems good. I'll have to do my own independent research and come to my own conclusions before I decide if I'm going all in on your top 10. But I think there's definitely some guys that I think are going to be on top 10 of mine as well.
CJ Stroud season rushing. Here we go. He had, where are we here? Stroud. Anthony Richardson in a lot less games played than everyone else, had 4 touchdowns rushing the ball.
Go off.
So I really think he's going to be such a good quarterback this year. Where is CJ Stroud? He's closer to the top. Closer to the top of the list, he's got to be, right? Now, do you find you have a guy in fantasy football that you just go after when it comes to this position, quarterback?
I don't think so. I think I've been kind of all over the place quarterback wise. Like last year, Jalen Hurts was my guy.
Yeah.
As far as a quarterback goes, if I don't get one of those like dual threat guys, I usually end up just kind of streaming and figuring it out.
Stroud had 3 rushing touchdowns, 167 yards, about 15th in the league rushing quarterback wise.
Special.
So mid tier, but again, his upside is his passing game. Yeah. They've got Joe Mixon now, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell is proven, Collins. They're a team. They could be dangerous.
Yeah, I would love to see the Houston Texans become fucking Super Bowl champions.
Could happen. Lions Texans Super Bowl. I don't know.
The sketch.
So let's jump over to running backs. Now, this is often held as the most important position in fantasy, or at leaguest the B3FL A-leaguers have always thought this. Whether it's true or not, this is a weird one because I think I'm going to start from, this is the only one I'm going to do this. I'm going to start from 1 and work my way down. Because I think we all know who 1 is.
Number 1 running back, Christian McCaffrey.
CMC is going to be the number 1 overall pick in, I think, 95% of drafts this year. And if he's not, it's only because he is disliked. They dislike the 49ers. The 49ers are a wagon. CMC is the engine that makes that wagon run. Wagons don't even have engines, and he's the engine there.
Aftermarket.
He's the number 1 running back. Now, this is where it kind of gets interesting for me because this is a bit of a preference. A lot of people have Breece Hall and Bijan Robinson in their top 5s, maybe even top 3s. They're sitting on my honorable
guys
mention
like that.
list.
The potential's there, but they haven't really proven themselves yet. Like Christian McCaffrey's tried and true.
My number 2 running back this year is going to be Saquon Barkley.
On the Eagles now, right?
On the Eagles, I think they've got it. They still have, you know what? The Eagles they had a terrible run of games last year. About a 6-7 game stretch where they were like 1-6 or 1-7. One of them happened to be a playoff game against the Tampa Bay team that ended up winning another playoff game. So it's not like I don't think they're bad by any means. I think with Saquon, they get back to what they want to be, and that's a rush first team. And I think Saquon could be a 15 touchdown rushing guy this year, 15 to 20. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I think Jalen Hurts takes a big hit rushing the ball. I think he's going to be a bit more of a game manager this year with the weapons they have. That's why I don't have him necessarily. I think he sits around 10 for me in quarterbacks. So Saquon's going to be my number 2. Number 3, I'm going to go Gibbs, Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit. That's a high. That offense is potent. And if you watched Gibbs run last year,
he was popping off.
He is dangerous. And shout out to Alex Sterling. He called that. And I hate shouting out Alex, but he called that early on that Gibbs was going to be huge, and he's going to be big for them this year. My number 4, Jonathan Taylor. It was only a couple years ago he was the number 1 overall pick, but in everyone's draft. I think
disappointed me time and time again, so I'm kind of
he has been so bad the last couple of years, but I also think some injuries. I think the Colts just have not lived up to what they were supposed to be. So it makes it, harder on him. He's a workhorse. Anthony Richardson being healthy, it adds another dynamic to the offense. Pittman could see a big uptick. And I think Taylor benefits. So I think he's going to finish in the top 5 this year. Before I hit 5, because 5 is going to have some question marks. My honorable mentions, Derrick Henry. We mentioned him already. That Ravens team's going to be good. I think he's like an 800-yard guy this year, but like 12 touchdowns. I think he's going to get the rock.
A bit lower than the past.
Yardage-wise, yeah. But again, I still think he's got value there. Breece Hall, Bijan, I got to see something. Everyone says they're great. I haven't seen it. So they're on my honorable mention list. And Travis Etienne. Where are the Jags? I got no Jags on my list. And that's kind of sad.
Breece Hall, he did his ACL last year or something? What was his deal?
2 years ago, I think he did his. And then last year, he came back closer to the end of the year and was solid. But the Jets are just not a great football team either.
Aaron,
right? So it's tough for me to sit here and say that like Breece Hall is going to be fantastic when
it's tough
sucks. We'll see how good Aaron Rodgers is. You know what I mean? You're kind of forgotten about him a bit.
Especially to bet on those guys being in the top 3, like it just seems like such a long shot.
I think so. So my number 5 running back rounding out the list, Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh, okay.
I think, as I said, I think Mahomes' production dips. I still think they're a 12, 13 win team because Andy Reid, KC, they haven't shown me anything otherwise. But I think Pacheco's going to get a lot more touches this year.
There's not that many other names on the team, really.
Well, and that's another thing, too. They're lacking a bit of star power, right? So I think Pacheco proved last year he can get the rock and he can run the rock hard. So I'm excited for Isaiah Pacheco this year. Really, really excited.
Now, what about who's the Miami guy? Achane?
Yeah.
Those guys were popping off last year.
Mostert too. Let's see where the Dolphins go this year. It's a big year for Miami.
The Rams, fucking Williams.
Yeah. You've also got, everyone's kind of forgotten about Austin Eckler going to Washington.
Oh, yeah?
What's he do this year? Josh Jacobs in Green Bay. I don't know what he does this year. Yeah, a lot of question marks. Joe Mixon in the Texans, value there. That's going to be a good team. We're talking
and all these researching, man. I'm fucking behind the ball.
Let's be real too about this. All of the names we're saying right now, they're gone in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, 14 teams. Shit's going to get thin.
These are good running backs, top tier running backs who are going to get touches. What position? You choose the next position, receiver, tight end, defense.
Let's say tight end.
TE. Let's go. I like my list here. I'm going to start with let's start with the number 5. The number 5 comes out of Cleveland, David Njoku. Now I know that him and Flacco had this huge chemistry last year, and it's going to be Deshaun Watson at the helm. But I think Njoku got some confidence back playing with Flacco, and I think they're going to find ways to get him the ball.
Yeah, that guy's a heck of an athlete.
And I drafted him last year, and I stuck with him throughout the year, and I'm happy I did. He really paid off for me later in the year. Number 4, Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid of the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills. He was supposed to be a big name last year, but Dawson Knox was still seeing some touches. No Diggs. The Buffalo team. I'm concerned about him, but I know Josh Allen's going to produce.
Just feels so sad that Josh Allen's never going to win the Super Bowl, man. He deserves to, but it's never going to happen.
I don't know if it's going to happen on Buffalo. I think their window's closed. I think it's closing, and they need to make some changes and add something to that offense. But I do think Kincaid has a really big year at tight end. I do. Number 3, kind of off the board here, Cole Kmet, Chicago Bears.
Oh, okay. He had a good. I think it was lots of touchdowns last year though, but he had a good year. I'm pretty sure, right?
With a quarterback that can barely throw the ball. Hey, question: are you good?
What?
You like moving in and out? Like,
fuck, dude! My laptop's on my lap, and I'm using a lacrosse ball on my feet right now, so it's kind of bouncy.
getting ready for the run, eh?
Got to get these knots out.
Chicago's also going to be better this year. You know, a full off season. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. Caleb Williams throwing the ball. I think Cole Kmet's going to see quite a bit of red zone touches. So I'd keep my eye out for him. Like that could be a sneaky pick in the 4th or 5th if you're looking for a tight end and you have your quarterback, a receiver, and a running back. Cole Kmet could be the guy.
Yeah, true.
There's going to be a lot more names. There's going to be names on my honorable mention list that are going to go before him. And a couple of those, I'll give you those names right now. Travis Kelce.
Okay.
George Kittle, both fall out of the top 5 this year. Kittle's so dependent on he's so good. But like sometimes they just say, we need you to go pancake guys.
Yeah.
You're not going to touch the ball this game. His ceiling is high. His floor is low when it comes to fantasy. Kelsey's he's been on the Eras tour. I don't know.
Yeah, true. Too busy dancing, that guy.
What were we going to say about Kittle?
Just on the receiver show, they do make that point a lot where he says that he's like, well, I don't care if I get one catch for 1 yard as long as we win the game. Like, I'll go out there and do my best blocking if I have to.
And like out of all the tight ends here, he's probably the one I'm picking first if he's on my team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
You love that, but
good luck,
Evan Ingram
too.
Great, yeah, for the boys, right? You see him on the boys all the time. Evan Ingram of the Jacksonville Jaguars has finished in the top 5 the last 2-3 seasons in fantasy. He could sneak in there again. I don't have him in my top 5, but he's definitely my top 10. And Trevor Lawrence, he's one of Trevor Lawrence's favorite targets. No Calvin Ridley. Could be interesting.
I don't know what it is about Evan Ingram, but he's one of those guys where I look at the picture of him on the Sleeper app and I'm like, I don't like this guy. There's something about him. I just don't like him.
Don't like him, eh?
He could have number 1 stats, but I just look at that picture. I'm like, I don't know. I don't fuck with this guy. So if his new picture's good, maybe I'll pick him, but I don't know. Moving on.
He could have some value in the 6th or the 7th potentially. He could fall there, so he could be a steal for you. And then I've got an asterisk next to this one, and I don't know why people stick around with this guy. He's on my honorable mentions list. Kyle Pitts. I know almost everybody's been burned by this guy, but the Atlanta Falcons this year want to play him at wide receiver and tight end, and they have Kirk Cousins throwing the ball now. This could be a turning point for Kyle Pitts this year.
May finally be the time, yeah. How many years has it been? Like 3 years of this guy just fucking tricking everyone every time.
Did it to me. I'm a victim.
Did it to me too.
Me too.
This is a
The
Kyle Pitts
Me Too
support
Me
group.
Too movement. So let's get back to the top two. And I mean, these guys are kind of interchangeable. Yeah, lacrosse ball's getting you, eh? Was that just a yawn?
I'm yawning. I'm just waking up.
Well, we appreciate you joining the show here, buddy. You know, that's the dedication we love.
The black coffee is just hitting the bloodstream, so.
My number 2 this year, Sam Laporta. I think that Detroit offense is going to be so freaking dangerous. And he is going to be great. But again, you know, now there's a year of film on him. Let's see how he does, right? Let's see if he can continue that. I've got high hopes for him though. And my number 1, tandem with Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews.
Yeah,
he's 28 years old. He is, you know, in the prime. I know he's taken some hits and some beatings, but I think this year he's going to see so much red zone production like he always does. And he's just a downfield threat too. He makes some wonderful catches.
Yeah, that guy's
spectacular catches. You could use a whole thesaurus book sometimes on like the extent of how good his catches are.
Need a good high.
That's my, yeah, exactly. So that's my tight end list. Now let's save the receivers for last. You know, shout out receivers. You haven't seen it on Netflix. I haven't seen it. Heard some good things, heard some bad things. Ryan, you said not as good as quarterback, but
just kind of boring. It's like get to it.
Fair.
It's like it's interesting to see what Debo eats for lunch, but like, you know, it doesn't have to be a 15-minute segment.
Have you seen any of the Giants Hard Knocks videos yet?
No, I've never really got into any of the Hard Knocks stuff.
It's funny. I've seen a couple speaking about Saquon Barkley, and I just saw one with Jim Mara, the owner of the Giants, and he's in there talking, and he's like, I don't know if I'll be able to sleep at night knowing that Saquon goes to the Eagles. And he said, like, Saquon is here when it comes to the most popular player on our team. He is like, he really wanted him back. They didn't have the money for him. They chose to move on. I
can't even think of a single other Giants player. Daniel Jones.
And that's just because he's overpaid. They traded, they just got Burns from Carolina. They talked about that in the thing. Brian Burns, he's a sick defensive end.
I don't know any fucking defensive player. I just know Kansas City defense.
Well, you don't worry about it, because I'm gonna give you the top 5 defenses this year right now. Okay.
Honestly, the Cowboys defense last year fucking made my team, so I'm itching to hear what D's are. D's are big.
Well, let's start with number 5 this year. And again, the defenses can be tough to predict, but I think I had this team going to the Super Bowl. I want to be clear on that. I've got this team going to the Super Bowl this year, and partly because they're well coached. Dan Campbell's a great coach. I think their offense is disgusting, weapons all over, and I believe they're going to have a top 5 defense this year. And that could be a huge stretch, but the Detroit Lions at number 5.
Yeah, I like a team that's historically been bad that is good.
And they were good last year. So I've got the Lions. I didn't want to put these guys on the list, partly because their fans are so painful. And like just the worst in the league, the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I do have to respect that their tradition. Mike Tomlin is a great coach. Watt, they've got Fitzpatrick. They've got a good guys on their defense. They turn the ball over. They keep that team in games. Their offense is going to be better this year too with the quarterback situation. You know, I think Ayuk's going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler here in the next week or two.
Okay.
So I think that their team's going to be good. I see Pittsburgh at 4. And just to rub it in those Steelers fans' faces, the Las Vegas Raiders are going to be a top 3 defense this year.
Pretty good. Crosby.
They've got some weapons. I really like Antonio Pierce. We've got some DBs, Jones, Hobbs. We've got some guys back there that can definitely make some plays. Our linebacking crew is going to be something we're going to have to get some guys there. But again, I like what our defense was the top 3 defense since Antonio Pierce took over last year.
True.
And then you get to the top 2, 49ers and Cowboys. The 49ers, they've got studs all over the field. They turn the ball over. That offense is remarkable. So I think they're going to be solid. And then you got the boys.
They were fucking hype last year, man.
And there's no reason to think that they're not going to be quite as good this year, unless I've missed something in the offseason, which I don't think I have. They're going to be good. I don't think their offense is going to be quite as good, so I don't think you're going to see that like domination from the Dallas Cowboys defense, but I still think they're going to be solid.
I mean, they figured out somehow just to like get pick sixes all the time. So like you don't even need an offense like at that point. Like if your defense can just score touchdowns, it's like
you're right though.
It's like, yeah, put us in a good position, I guess, but like when we take over, like you guys can go 3 and out. We'll just score a fucking pick six.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right. And that defense,
give me more chances.
You had them last year, correct?
I did. And there'd be weeks where it's like my defense gets 30 points. It's like all I need is an average showing from everybody else, and we're fucking laughing to the bank.
That defense was just, they were, in other words, gross. You know what I mean? Like 6 defensive touchdowns last year.
And it's a position too, like people, I was getting shit. It's like, oh, your team wouldn't be nothing if not for your defense. It's like, yeah, bro, I fucking drafted a great defense. Thank you.
Yeah, 100%. They had 14 forced fumbles, 17 picks. Yeah, they get after it, man. They get after it. They didn't get after the quarterback quite as much as some of the other teams in the league. But again, I think that there's no reason for me to think that defense isn't going to be the best defense and fantasy defense in the league this year.
Maybe I'll run it back with the Cowboys. Maybe I'll do that.
You know, people wait long on their defenses, and I've been a big proponent when you're drafting, you know, go for the guys, go for the best players. You know what I mean? Go for the guys who are going like the best players at the position. Like if you go out and get the best defense, the best tight end, I mean, your running backs, you can take a little bit of a hit. Your receivers can take a little bit of a hit. They don't have to be the highest of quality. You can go get waiver wire guys, you know?
Yeah, like why are you filling out your bench spots before your fucking whole team is done?
It's different strategies, right? And again, we'll see how it goes this year with guys, but let's get into the wide receivers. Okay, so in my number 5 hole, I've got an asterisk next to this because this is strictly dependent on if Ayuk gets traded. If Ayuk stays with the San Francisco 49ers, Debo is not a top 5 guy. Because there's too many mouths to feed there. But Debo is so well utilized in that offense. He will get his touches, and if Ayuk is gone, he becomes the number 1. And trust me, he's going to put up a ton of yards this year. You could have 20 touchdowns, 10 receiving, 10 rushing. So Debo is going to be number 5 with an asterisk. My number 4 is going to be CeeDee Lamb. I mean, he had the most points last year. I'm not a huge CeeDee Lamb guy, I'll be honest with you. But again, it's tough to argue with the numbers, and it's tough to argue with everybody sitting there saying, like, this is the guy.
You know, I'm kind of with you there. I had him on my one team, and he's a guy where, like, he'll get tons of points every week, but for some reason, I just don't see him as, like, one of the top guys.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is, but again...
Maybe it's his haircut or something.
Maybe. Maybe I'm just upset we took Henry Ruggs before him. I don't know, but...
what happened to that guy?
He just goes too fast. He's too fast on the field, too fast in the car. So then, before I get into the top three, because I think we all know who the top three wide receivers in the NFL are, and you can put them in whatever order you want. I'll give you my honorable mentions. St. Brown, Detroit, again, great, gritty guy.
Not Equanimous. Just to be clear, you mean Amon-Ra, not
Amon. Yes, correct.
Equanimous.
I did write A. St. Brown, so I was prepared for that. Just in case I forgot. But yeah, Amon-Ra, St. Brown. Stephon Diggs, I think he's gonna bounce back.
Okay.
He started off so strong last year. He's not in my top 5, but I think he could finish in the top 10, top 15.
Now I don't know what your other two top spots are, but you think he does better than Tank Dell or Nico Collins on the Texans?
Yeah, I think he's going to be the number one guy there. I really do.
All right.
I mean, there was times last year when he didn't fit in with that offense anymore, and him and Josh Allen just weren't on the same page. I don't think. I don't know if they ever were. I think they were trying to force it a little much. I think he bounces back. Devontae Adams to me is still a threat. I don't know if it's Aiden O'Connell throwing him the ball or Gardner Minshew. I think it's Aiden O'Connell. But
his whole narrative on that receiver show, like everybody is basically just like, yeah, you're the best receiver in the NFL, Devontae Adams. Like
and he gets that respect. But again, when it comes to fantasy numbers, I just don't know if he's going to get the production. I don't see the Raiders offense putting up 20 points in many games this year.
Yeah, true.
And then I've got Marvin Harrison Jr., a little rookie on there. I think him and Kyler Murray could have some big chemistry. They're saying he could have played like 2 years ago in the NFL. So it seems like he's going to be ready to go. I'm excited to see how he does this year. So I'm assuming you know who the top 3 are. You want to take a guess in the order 1, 2, 3 that I've got them?
I can't even really remember. Like Tyreek, fucking.
Come on.
I can't remember who else is up there. You said Devontae.
JJ.
Oh yeah, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase.
Those 3.
Those are the 3.
Those are the 3. I've got 1, 2, 3. In what order do you think I have them?
Well, I feel like it's gonna be not the order normal people would expect.
Well, take a guess.
I think you have Chase first, then Tyreek, then Justin Jefferson.
Ding, 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 buddy. That's it. One of the reasons here is I think all 3 guys are studs. All 3 guys are potential Hall of Famers. Jamar Chase, and I know I say that boldly, Jamar Chase is going to have a disgusting year with Burrow back. They're going to be on a tear, I think.
Yeah, I say that because I knew you were big on Burrow.
Yes, correct. And this is kind of where it gets a little tough because, I mean, JJ doesn't have Cousins, right?
Yeah, true. Who's the quarterback there?
JJ McCarthy is going to most likely be the guy.
Is that a rookie?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not a bad situation. I also don't know who else is there in Minnesota, but again, let's call it what it is. He doesn't have many guys. He's the best receiver in the league, Justin Jefferson. But fantasy wise, I think he finishes top 3, but 3rd, and then Tyreek Hill. I mean, that guy can just go. But I think Waddle is going to have a better, he's going to get a little uptake. Chen's going to get some more touches. You've got to hand the ball to Mostert still. So I think there's going to be some light decline there in Tyreek Hill's numbers, but I just see Jamar Chase just like shooting up and like I'm talking like 1,800 yards
for Chase.
Yeah,
he's been like had a bit of injuries and stuff, but I can see that definitely being possible.
I just think Cincinnati had a tough year last year with injuries.
That's true. Yeah, they kind of got the shit out of the stick.
I think Joe Burrow's the guy. When it comes to quarterbacks, I think he's the guy. He reminds me so much of Peyton Manning in the pocket, and I know he moves better than Peyton, but that's just what I see when I see him, and that's got to be exciting, right?
Mr. Cool, Joey B.
So yeah, Jamar Chase, I think he's gonna have a huge year. So that's it. That's my my rankings for my pre-draft ranking for the B3FL.
I don't think anyone can hate on that list at all.
They will.
I mean, they will. Yeah, that's for sure.
I think the quarterbacks, Richardson in the top 3, Vegas at 3rd, defense.
Couple bold takes, yeah.
Couple bold takes. Pacheco in the top 5. I looked at the CBS; they ranked their top guys. We definitely had some differences. They had Pacheco at like 20.
Oh,
that was a big difference.
Where was he for you? Top 4?
Top 5. He was my 5th. So obviously I know more than the CBS guys, but I don't want to, drag on them too much.
Otherwise, they would have the most successful podcast in the B3FL.
And they don't.
Exactly.
We're going for our 3-peat this year, podcast of the year.
Let's go.
Let's go. Before we wrap this thing up, we talked about a question off air. I thought it was kind of cool. Pick 3 athletes who you want to see. You would want to see live in any era, in any time. Can you pick 3 guys, in your mind that you would like? Fuck, I'd have to choose him.
Now I've been kind of thinking about it, but do you have guys?
I've got 3. Yeah,
you have 3. Let me hear your 3, and maybe it'll jog my brain a bit.
So I could have gone like a couple of the same sports. I went a boxer, a football player, and then I went hockey. And everyone I think was going to say Gretzky, but like I've seen enough video of Gretzky to know how good he was. But I've only ever heard old guys talk about Bobby Orr. And to win the scoring title, the amount of times he did from the defensive position in like the 60s, 70s, it would have been cool to see it. You know what I mean? So, and apparently he just skated so well. And all these old guys say like, oh, Bobby Orr was the best. So that would have been a guy for me.
Do we think that like, is it like watching old hockey too would be part of it? Like, would you want to like just...
The game would have been different, but again, they said he was kind of ahead of his time, like Gretzky was. So it would have been cool to see like the no helmet, him skating like from behind his net, fucking down the ice and go end to end,
Yeah, definitely.
My number 2 as a defensive player, football player, Lawrence Taylor, LT. Okay. Apparently that guy was a fucking animal. I would have loved to have seen him live. And I know he played in the 90s. But again, they say he's the greatest. Bill Belichick says he's the greatest of all time. And that to me is like, okay, that's a guy I want to see. And another one, age specific here, very age specific. I would like to see, and I've said this before many times, a 20 to 22-year-old Mike Tyson winning the World Heavyweight Championship.
That's actually a great answer.
Ringside for a legitimate 21-year-old to go out and murder people, you know what I mean, in the ring. Like that to me would have been like one of the most dangerous humans to ever walk this planet with his bare hands is Mike Tyson. And at that age, it doesn't happen anymore in boxing. Guys are not that good at that size, that age. And he did it at 20, Yeah,
that guy's a freak.
I don't care to see, like I saw him when he was like 35 box and it was cool, but like not live, but like on pay-per-view,
true.
And it's like, nah, I would have liked to see you when you were 20.
I think, like I can't really, I don't know. I feel like whoever I would say, I feel like I'd be missing people out until I like really think about it.
Buddy, I missed a ton out, trust me.
But I think I would want to choose like those kind of like guys that are like fucking just freak monsters that, like once in a generation come around and are like, oh my God, that guy was fucked. Like,
yeah.
Like, like that Tyson answer, that's a good answer. I would want to see OJ for sure, just to say, Yeah, I fucking saw OJ. If there was like, you know, some big games that he had, see him ball out.
100%.
I don't know. I would want to see like super, super old, like maybe like football from like the 20s, like who fucking played back then. Like I would watch a game.
Maybe
like
a couple of those Hall of Famers,
Yeah, especially if they were like doing, because weren't guys like doing blow on the sidelines at one point? I would want to see
That was wild.
I want to see like those kinds of games. And then I would go to hockey, and the athlete I would choose is the guy that gets his fucking neck sliced on the ice. I would want to see that game. That'd be crazy to see.
There's been a couple instances. The one you're probably thinking of is the Florida one, Richard Zednick.
I know there's one like recent, but I'm talking about the one like back. I've only seen like a clip of it, and it's like a cell phone clip. It's like fucking wild.
Yeah,
it'd be cool to be at that game.
That's an interesting one. I wasn't expecting that. Something
like so fucking crazy.
Yep.
Or like the Super Bowl where all the lights turned off at the, you know, it's like, whoa, that doesn't usually happen.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, and that's a good question too. Like, pick an event, like pick a, you know, a previous big major event.
See, it is kind of like a loophole. Like, I'm not really talking about like the athlete specifically, but if it was down to like the specific athletes, yeah, like I would want to see like fucking crazy guys that are like doing wild shit. Like Lawrence Taylor, I think would be cool. Yeah, like Rodman.
Like a couple. Rodman. A couple names that popped in my head, like Chamberlain, Wilt Chamberlain, would have been cool to see.
Yeah,
that guy. I mean, the 100-point game. There you go. There's an event that would have been cool. Muhammad Ali. And you talk about an event like the Rumble in the Jungle. Imagine being live at that.
Is that the one where everyone like the Meta World Peace? Is that the Rumble in the Jungle?
No, the Rumble in the Jungle was that's the Malice at the Palace.
Yeah, Malice
the Pacers. The Pacers fight.
It's not Rumble in the Jungle, it's Malice at the Palace.
That was I think that was like the Knicks Pacers, and that was and they all got suspended. Reggie Miller. There's a documentary on Netflix about it too. That's a really good one. No, Rumble in the Jungle was, I believe it was I think it was Frazier versus Ali.
Oh.
And I think it was their third fight, I believe. And Jake and I actually, you know, not to give Jake any airtime here, but Jake and I actually sat down and watched it. There's a YouTube clip, and you can watch the whole thing in black and white. Fucking, it looks insane. But Muhammad Ali would have been a cool one to see live. And then there's the obvious, like Michael Jordan, you know, and if you're looking at golf or something like Jack Nicklaus, you know.
I don't think I'd watch a golf game regardless.
No, and not that I am either, but you could go to the GOATs of sports, you know, and pick those guys, but I think that's too easy.
Yeah, like I would want to see something like really fucking entertaining. Like I think Lawrence Taylor's a good one. Like, what's his name? Ray Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, any Ray Lewis games were cool. Like his entrance, just seeing his entrance, you know, being like right next to it when he came out of the tunnel. And he did that little dance.
It's like guys that they just know they're making history when they're walking out there. They're like, yo, I'm the fucking best. I'm going to put on a show right now.
And Ray Lewis was good. He was so good. I mean, every game he put up like 8 tackles. Didn't
he like kill a guy too?
Yeah, there was, well, I mean, depends who you ask. I guess if you ask Ray Lewis, he didn't. But yeah, he was involved in a nightclub incident when he was like 22, 23. His brother was also an NFL running back, Jamal Lewis.
True.
Runs in the family. Maybe that's a good question, you know, in a different pod, you know, pick a superior athletic family.
Yeah, it's weird when both, like when you got siblings both in the league and like one of them's like good and one of them sucks. It's like, must be awkward.
I mean,
Thanksgiving.
We're seeing, you know, it's kind of awkward right now. It's this whole Bronny James in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like,
is he on the Lakers now? Are they like on the team? It's happening?
So it's summer league. He got drafted by them. He's the 55th pick. I feel so bad for this guy, man. He's getting the amount of pressure on him to succeed. He put up his summer league stats are not great.
Yeah, I heard he wasn't anything special. Yeah.
He's not, but he's an athlete, but he's only 6'2". But apparently he's got tremendous IQ of the game, just like, his dad. But he played NCAA Division I for a bit. He had cardiac arrest probably, a year and a half ago. So it's interesting. It's just like the pressure of the family name, you know what I mean?
Yeah, be crazy.
And to just be like a 55th overall, but
and now I don't know much about
and,
basketball, but I've asked a couple of basketball fans who say that is he not James? Like, is he not LeBron James Jr.? Does he even get drafted to the NBA? So a lot of people say that's debatable.
And it's definitely debatable, but like in the NBA too, like a lot of those teams take hits and swings on young athletes because they're athletic. I mean, you can go to the Raptors a few years ago in Bruno Calabocco. And I mean, he was the most raw athlete there was, you know what I mean? There was really no footage on him. Only Masai Ujiri knew who he was really. People said he could have gone undrafted. And we took him in the first round, like 12, close to the top 10. So in the NBA, like teams will reach on potential, right? Because there's only two rounds. Was it because of the name? Sure.
And like, you're selling fucking a million jerseys and seats.
For sure. But to say that like he doesn't have potential to potentially get there, like if you're 55th pick in the NBA draft, I mean, they showed the former 55ths, and I think one of them in all the years it's happened has made a career for himself.
True.
So it's not like this pick was going to help them win a championship.
They're
this
like,
year.
Fuck it, may as well get LeBron James' son.
Yeah, and like, you know what?
LeBron
maybe exactly, and maybe maybe he turns into something. Maybe he turns into a role player during the season who never sees playing time during playoffs, but can help us. A depth player.
Plus, you have the love of a father and son on your team.
To me, the upside is just too high to say no.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
People can say, oh, nepotism and all that, but like at the same time too, if you're the Lakers, like it made sense.
You need all the nepotism you can get.
Like you got LeBron James' kid, like, but I don't think he'll play with the Lakers at all this year.
True.
If ever, to be honest with you.
Just wants to throw an alley-oop to his old man, and then he's happy.
Yeah. He's got some hops, though.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
Catch an alley-oop from your old man.
What happened?
Just completely dropped out.
I just started talking about Australian debt. I read a thing that Australia, their debt to GDP ratio is the second worst in the world, or second highest.
It's too bad.
Yeah, that's more of a Langang topic, but
I'll probably live here for a little bit longer, and then it's not my problem anymore. Their debt situation.
You're right. Cool. Well, should we wrap this one up, buddy? What do you think?
I'd say another great episode in the books.
Terrific. So we're back, baby.
Another award-winning episode. God, my internet
really
connection is unstable.
Really set the pace for the year. Put some pressure on Jordan to really have to step up. And he's going to be off to a slow start with the wedding.
True.
It's going to be really slow for him. So I think we're going to jump out to a huge lead on him this year. And okay, let's sign off while we've still got some recording here.
Here we go.
Pistol Gun Cop. No, don't apologize, buddy. It's great to be back. Great to be back.
Ooh, yeah.
you do what you got to do on this episode, get her posted, and then send it out to the B3FL, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right, great episode.
Catch you next time.
You take it easy. You have yourself a good night or a good day, good run.
Likewise.
Okay. See you, buddy.
Adios.
Up on Cripple Creek, she sends me if I spring a leak. She mends me, I don't have to speak. She defends me, a drunkard stream if I ever did see one. Good luck had just stung me. To the racetrack I did go. She bet on one horse to win, and I bet on another to show. Odds were in my favor. I had 'em 5-1. And that nag to win came around the track. Sure enough, we had won. Up on Cripple Creek, and she sends me if I spring a leak. She mends me, I don't have to speak. She defends me, a drunkard's dream if I ever did see one. I took up all of my winnings, and I gave my little Bessie half. And she tore it up and threw it in my face, just for a laugh. Now there's one thing in the whole wide world I sure would like to see. That's when that little love of mine dips a donut in my teeth. Up on Cripple Creek, she sends me if I spring a leak. She mends me, I don't have to speak. She defends me, a drunkard scream if I ever did see one. Me and my mate were back at the shack. We had Spike Jones on the box. She said, I can't take the way he sings, but I love to hear him talk. Now that just gave my heart a throb to the bottom of my feet. And I swore as I took another pull, my Bessie can't be beat. Up on Cripple Creek, she sends me if I spring a leak. She mends me, I don't have to speak. She defends me, a drunkard's dream if I ever did see one. No, no, Lord, Lord, Lord. No, Lord, Lord, Lord. There's a flood out in California, and up north is freezing cold. And this living off the road is getting pretty old. So I guess I'll call up my big mama, tell her I'll be rolling in. But you know deep down, I'm kinda tempted to go and see my Bessie again.